Hey everyone, how's it going? So thank you for everyone that's posting their introductions and the groups that are. I think two teams already are filled up, so that's great. I believe everyone should be able to select their own teams, but if you can't, just let me know. Um, I wanted to make this video to talk a bit about your database design project and just kind of what you're expected to do. And I have a bunch of tabs open up here, but I'm going to go through some tools that might be useful for you and also talk about some due dates that I'm going to leave kind of as deadlines, but if they're, I know it's summer course and sometimes these go by very fast. So if you need more time, just let me know. So the first thing I wanted to show you is that inside of your week one, there's a new video for Postgre installation for the server and client. There was two links at the end of our introduction PowerPoint and video that talked about it. But this video just goes through the process of it too. So that should work for you. If you go ahead and open up your database design project, this will talk about that you need to enroll in the team May 18th. May 12th is when you should post your introduction so that you get to know some folks if you don't know anyone else in the class. But again, let me know any more information you need. I'll keep the link that this video is inside of here, but I'll also post it into your module page. And now there's a PDF here in lots of areas. You can also find this through the assignments, but we'll look at this here. So this project overview is you're going to build an online application center that uses a PostgreSQL database, and that's going to store info on products, availability of products, orders of customers, and staff information. So we're going to give you this kind of template that you're going to run with going forward. You're going to have three deliverables that you need to put together. The first one is an entity relationship model. So once we get to that point in the semester, you should be able to start developing that. You can either draw this by hand with your team, or you could go ahead and use tools like Lucid Lucid app, which allows you to build over some things here, which they're usually for coding, but you can make them for your entity relationship. There's a bunch of other tools out there as well. If you're familiar with Photoshop or Photopea, those could help too. After you go ahead and you make this entity relationship, we're going to look at a relational schema. So a relational schema is going to be the conversion of your entity relationship into your actual SQL code. So you're going to use the PostgreSQL that we downloaded in that video, and you're going to make an SQL file. And essentially what you're going to turn in is a file that I can run, and it should create all the schema that you put together from your entity relationship. So we haven't talked about these terms too much yet, so if it's a bit confusing, don't worry. But essentially, like if you have a table that says customers and the table has customer ID, customer name, you should have an SQL code that when I run it, creates a table that says customers, creates columns that say customer ID, customer name, and stuff like that. So it'll be different for each group based on what you think is appropriate. But again, this is just going to be an SQL file. So these will take some time. They're relatively straightforward once I give you the materials to learn on them too. But the part that might be a little bit tricky, depending on how familiar you are with some of these tools, is the application. So what you're actually going to do is make a web or desktop application. I've also put together a few links of GitHub.io and netlify.com to host your application if you just want to submit it as a URL to look at. You could also have this application run locally on your machine. We saw inside of the Postgre video that we can do localhost to do this. So if you prefer that, that's fine too. But essentially, a few tools that you can use to make this are like full stack web apps that you can make too. So you could use something like Nux. I've used this before. It's a little iffy, but if you're familiar with JavaScript, that could work too. React is probably something a lot of us have heard about that interacts with APIs. So you can definitely find stuff for your React and PostgreSQL easily here. There's links out there too. If you just type in top full stack web frameworks, there's a bunch of them here. But what you want to try to do is make sure that you're looking at a way for your application to work with your PostgreSQL. So just make sure that your application works with this guy here. And one more thing, you could also use like the old school HTML, CSS, JavaScript to make an application as well. The thing about these is that you want to try to either record the video showing me how to do it, or if you prefer, you can record the video and also send me a link so I can double check some of the information. Okay. To actually host these as websites, if you want to also put this into a portfolio to show off for co-ops or future interviews, you could use Netlify, which allows you to use a website where it says something like databaseproject.netlify.com. So it hosts the URL for you. There's also something I put together here for everyone. It's a free website creation using GitHub. So if you have a GitHub account, you can use something like github.io. And then I go through the phases here. This will be linked in the video here and also on the database information. And it will show you how to make a very basic website using tools. This was also for other people. So if you have trouble with using HTML or CSS, I put in together some other tools to use it. ChatGPT and Teleport and HTML code generator can help out. But essentially, this creates a very rudimentary URL that you can use for your project. Okay. So that application, I bring up all this detail because that might take the longest time to do it. So just pace yourself for this application too. And you could probably get it running right now in that video or in this URL. I have a very basic Hello World website. So you could just start adding to it there. So for your actual submission, you want to submit your SQL code, your entity relationship model, your scripts, and then into a group repository. This is the GitLab repository. I'm going to have a separate video once all the teams are made, and I'm going to show you with a mock-up team how to join it in there. But a main thing here is that each group should submit a 5-minute recorded video demo demonstrating their application, okay? So there's also bonus points here for the requirements, but a main thing is that I want every group member to contribute in the phase of the project, and then all that will be combined for your overall grade, okay? So essentially, if you make your application with these 3 parts, you could have 2 group mates maybe split up the ER model because that could be pretty heavy with information. The schema could be taken by one, and the application walkthrough could be taken by another. But let's have everyone record 5 minutes, so you'll have a total of a 20-minute presentation for this one. Okay. So inside of the PowerPoint, we don't have the dates that I put in there, but I have the dates here. So your entity relationship model will be due by July 8th. So that's around a month from now. If we take a look back at our syllabus, I want to make sure, again, if you're taking multiple summer classes or just busy with other things and you feel that the timeframes are a bit too tight, just start communicating with me. Please don't just not communicate with your team and me and then just not submit anything. The more you talk to me, the more I know where everyone's at with these. Where is it here? Yeah, we look at relational data models next week. And then we also take a look at the ER model on the 24th. After some of this information. So we'll give the information of the project a bit more, but the ER model will be on the 24th. So that will give you around week and a half to put together the first phase of it. I might introduce aspects of this a bit earlier too, if you prefer, just to give you a bit more time. But that will be due on July 8th. Your database design and SQL scripts, which we will be covering way before the 15th, will be due on the 15th, sorry. And your implementation will be due the 22nd. And I know we go up until the 3rd. So the 5-minute recorded video. Oops, sorry. Let me just make sure. Oh, sorry. I misspoke on the video part. My bad. So the whole video should be 5 minutes. So if you want to split it up into 4 segments for 5 minutes, you don't need to make a 20-minute one. Sorry, brain lapse there. So just make sure that's there, but split it up so that each person of your group hits a section of it, right? So anyway, that'll be due by July 29th. August 3rd is the end of our semester here. So I need to have grades in around the 4th or the 5th. If you need a little bit more time in this, because I know there'll be finals as well, just let me know for this too. Cool. So I'm going to read through the actual requirements of this database project and also the supporting additions that you could do. If you can do this yourself, you don't need to watch the remainder, but I just wanted to show you the dates and what the application should do here, okay? So first of all, each application needs to support 2 types of users. There's going to be customers. They're going to be able to look up for information. Each customer should have the ability to record the name of the customer, 1 or more addresses for delivery payment, and credit card information. A customer can have multiple credit cards, and each credit card should be associated with a payment address. For each customer, the database should maintain the current balance of the customer's account, i.e. the dollar amount, okay? So you can already see here that if you're thinking about the type of modeling that you need to make, a customer might have a one-to-many relationship with some of these that we'll get into. There's also going to be staff members, so they're going to be able to store, modify, and create products, update availability of products, query customer information, and process orders. Database stores name, address, salary, and job title. Okay, so you have two users. Your online store information is going to be products, any type of product that are there for a category, and any additional information for the product. You're going to have a warehouse. So think of this kind of like Amazon. There might be multiple warehouses around. There's going to be a certain address at each warehouse. Stock is going to record how many items each products are currently stored in which warehouse. You're going to have a price, which is going to maintain the prices of your products, and an order. So a customer can order items, and an order consists of products with their quantities. You need to make sure that this interacts with the stocks and how much is allowed, right? So if you're out of stock for a product, the customer shouldn't be able to order it. And then also a delivery plan. So essentially, express or standard, a type of delivery price, date, and ship date. Okay. So there's quite a bit of information here, but it breaks it down into two types and then the relationship there between them. And then all of these will be related with a represented through an entity model. Cool. So a few bonus points that we have here. The database can store stuff about suppliers. So each supplier has an address and a name, and a supplier will sell some items, not necessarily all the items that are in there, for a supplier specific price. So this is again stuff that you can add on later, and then also a capacity of each warehouse. So essentially, each warehouse is going to have its own size, and then it's going to hold the amount of products that it can maintain inside of there. So warehouses are supposed to be done by themselves, but you can add on a capacity of it later. Cool. So for your application, this web app that you're going to record or present to me as a URL, the application should support the following actions. It should have a customer. So if I'm a customer, I should be able to search and browse products, add them into a shopping cart, and place an order. I should be able to add, delete, and modify a credit card and an address. For the staff, I should be able to add, delete, and modify a product and its price, and add stock to a warehouse. So customers can also search for available products and browse through the catalog, grouped by product type. And this application should maintain a shopping cart for a customer that stores the items that the customer has selected so far in their quantity. Okay. So essentially, general idea of it is kind of like Amazon that we're looking at here. So just what you expect to be able to do on there too. May be able to add, delete, modify credit cards, add, delete, modify products as a staff person as well, and then manage stock here. Okay. So these are all requirements for your application. For bonus points of this application, you can check if it's available in the warehouse to fulfill the order. Images, so this could be something if you're working with HTML, CSS, you can work around with. For right now, I would do it all text-based until you get fancy with it, and then storage limits with the warehouse. Okay. So again, this is a pretty hefty application. You know, it'll take a few weeks to a month and a half to put it together. So just pace yourself working with it. I put these deadlines in here as tentative check-ins based on the information that I'm giving out in the class. If you feel that you're very stuck with, let's say, the entity relationship model and the information that I've posted isn't enough for you to figure it out, just let me know and I'll put together some extra videos. But again, you can kind of see here with the video that you're doing, maybe someone could be a customer and talk about how they can put this together. Someone could be a staff and just demo the relationship. But just make sure all four of you in the team give around a minute and 15 to the overall video to make sure everyone gets the full credit. Okay, cool. So this was a bit of a hefty video. Again, it's not a 20-minute video. You need to record a 5-minute demo. I apologize for that mistake earlier. But in general, just keep a pulse on this throughout the semester. Figure out how the material we're learning in lectures will relate to this. And this will really help out with your midterm and final exam too, because a lot of stuff you're going to be doing here will be related to those exams as well. Great. Thank you.